kind of talk to you a little bit about a project that we are just kind of starting. I think just came through a few months ago, and it's called the Oregon Bee Project. Kind of the overarching theme of this project is really just to protect and promote pollinators that are vital to the state's production of specialty crops. Just to give you a little bit of background about bees in the state of Oregon, we have approximately 500 species of bees. They vary greatly in size, shape, and in behavior as well. Many of them are crop pollinators. Some are also pollinators of native plants. And then we have some kleptoparasites. These are species that instead of foraging for their own resources, they actually lay their eggs in the nests of other bees. Is this not working right? You distracting?
You just gotta hold it close.
Close? Because I can project pretty loud if that is less distracting. You guys like the microphone?
Whatever works for you. Yeah.
How's this? Is that better?
Yell loud, we can.
I can be loud because this is going to distract me.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and of the vast majority of these species, we know very little about them as far as what they pollinate. There's really only a few crops that we've really determined what the key pollinators are. We really don't know where they are in the environment for the vast majority of the state. There are many areas in Oregon that haven't been surveyed, sometimes ever, and in some cases not since the 1950s. And we really are not really sure what the health of most of the species are. Overall, our bee species seem to be doing pretty well, but we still really have a lack of knowledge to really determine that. And the agricultural environment in Oregon really has a unique environment that's really well suited to bolstering pollinators, and then of course Oregon crops and bees here really have a close mutualistic relationship. And so why is this? So one of the big reasons is our crop diversity. Here in Oregon, as you I'm sure know, we produce over 200 different crops here, and what that does is it provides bees with these mass amounts of forage throughout the entire growing season, starting very early on and then through the end of summer. And this gives them high quality nutrition. Again, that sequential bloom is very important for their full development. We also have a landscape that provides a lot of other resources. So this is through pollen and nectar, again, not just the crop, but we have a lot of tree blooming species. For instance, big leaf maple is the first nectar flow in the Willamette Valley here. We have weeds, we have a lot of natural areas along croplands that provide additional floral resources, as well as nesting and overwintering sites. And they're kind of sprinkled throughout the landscape. Most of the bee species we have in Oregon are actually ground nesting species, and they prefer to either nest directly in crop settings. Sometimes they also like to nest along the field margins. Many of them prefer dry, bare patches of sunny ground. Some also nest in the pithy stems of plants, and then also in beetle holes of decaying wood. And even fields that you wouldn't think would be beneficial to pollinators. Here's a grassy field. I know it's kind of fuzzy. And this is a great place for nesting bees. They like to nest along the kind of bare patches of soil along the field margin. And also the bowl holes provide excellent nesting sites for bumblebees, which are very important crop pollinators. We also have another great thing here in Oregon. We have fantastic human capital. I have always been very, very impressed with both the knowledge of farmers, but also their interest in pollinators and their willingness to try to promote them on their own without anyone stepping in and asking them to. Here are a couple of different examples of things farmers in Oregon have been doing. These are some nectary plantings. These again provide forage during off seasons when crop are not in bloom. Here's some cover crop. This is hairy vetch, an excellent bumblebee plant. This is a beetle bank over here in the corner, and here looks like some other hedgerow I can't really see right there. And I think that at a time when bees around the world are experiencing a lot of problems, it's really important to find ways to support and give incentives to farmers that are using these practices. Which is kind of how the Oregon Bee Project came about. And again, so this is a collaborative project between the ODA and a diverse set of stakeholders. We're working with NRCS, OSU Extension, soil and water conservation districts, farmers from throughout the state that are trying to find ways to help promote and protect our pollinators. This project is funded by the USDA Specialty Crop Block Grant. It is a 3-year project. If it's successful, we may seek funding to extend it. It's in the pilot phase right now, and while it's in the pilot phase, any of the services we provide will be free to growers. Again, there's some arching themes of this project. The first one is really we're trying to create a pollinator network in the state, so we're bringing together all the who's who in the bee community, again, researchers, growers, other agencies, as a way to try to provide farmers with the latest tools and resources they need to implement bee-friendly practices. And there also really is a marketing component of this project. We feel that this special mix of ag features that we have, partially because of our agricultural environment, that we can make a strong case about how beneficial our system is to pollinators. And we want to offer farmers an opportunity to kind of tell a positive story about what they're doing. I feel like the agricultural industry gets a lot of negative press environmentally, and here's a chance to talk about something positive. So the program has 3 main components. There's outreach and education. This will be different speaking events. We have been creating new materials. There's a bee guide here that I brought with me today. We have a postcard in the back, things of the like. There also will be a newsletter, and then we're going to have a bee symposium, either 2018 or 2019. There's also a field research component. I'm really excited about this. This year we're going to focus on identifying key pollinators of pumpkin and strawberry. This work will be contracted out to OSU, is what we're thinking at this point. The largest component of this project, though, is the development of a bee-friendly farming certification. So, how is this going to work? So, participating farmers, and this is a completely voluntary project, who agree, to practice certain land management strategies that are pollinator friendly. They attend a workshop, they agree to participate in some on-site monitoring, and then they participate in kind of a site visit schedule. Will then get the use of a value-added logo to promote their products and as well as their farm as being pollinator friendly. So the first year, we are kind of in the development phase of this. Right now, we're developing the criteria for this. And to do that, we're assembling a really large and diverse advisory committee. This is made up of, again, growers, researchers, other industries, and we're reaching out to anybody within the state who wants to be part of this process to help us decide what that criteria is. We also have a steering committee those are folks that can put a little more time to this, that can help with deciding kind of the structural challenges of this project. Tom is on our steering committee, as well as Anthony Melithopoulos from OSU, and then Stu O'Neill from Rogue Valley Farm Corps. And again, if anyone is interested in participating even on that level, please let me know. So the first year we're developing the criteria. We're also going to have flagship farms. We're thinking maybe 6 farms that will be spaced kind of regionally throughout the state that will kind of help us test out the criteria and any recommendations that we're going to be putting forward. And then also we're having outreach events. Next year, the certification will be open to growers of specialty crops in Oregon. Again, just to mention, so we have this advisory committee we're trying to put together, and to do this, we're having meetings kind of throughout the state. We had our first meeting on the 28th in Portland. Our next one is coming up in Aurora on the 23rd, and if anyone is interested in participating, please let me know. There's also on the back of the postcards, there's a website where you can log on and get information about upcoming events and then sign up to be on our email list. We also will have an Eastern tour and then a Southern tour. We're still, in the next couple of days, we will be finalizing those dates. And again, if there's a group who's really interested in participating and wants us to come to them, we're happy to do that. Just give me a call and we'll schedule a meeting. And then that's kind of all I had today. I'm happy to answer questions. This is the email address. Again, it's on the postcard in the back of the room, but if you have any other questions, this is where you could direct them at this time.
just for Oregon, or are you doing Washington?
So it's just for Oregon this time. Again, we may be expanding it again in the future, but for the pilot phase, it's just Oregon.
Any other questions?
What all are you gonna do at the workshop? Just like there.
On the 23rd. So the advisory committees are just to give people more an in-depth look about what we're thinking as far as the certification structure would go. So the first half of the meeting is about background. There's also usually a networking component where we introduce ourselves, meet everybody. The second half of the meeting is kind of a working meeting where we break off into groups. For our first meeting, we had one group that was just talking about what they'd like to see in that criteria section. And we had another group that was kind of tackling the marketing angle. Because we recognize a project like this to be successful, we are going to have to kind of get buy-in from the consumer side as well. So we had folks that were kind of tackling those two issues.
Have you come up with any sort of varietal?
So he was asking if we were going to be giving specific recommendations as far as varieties of plants to put in these different kind of hedgerow schemes. And we're not necessarily trying to reinvent the wheel, so we're going to be pulling on the lists. There are some pretty good lists that have already been developed in Oregon. And if you're interested, I'm happy to kind of direct you that way. There's a few I particularly like from the NRCS that they developed for the last couple of years. And so we'll probably be, and we're working with some of those people that are going to be on our advisory committee. So we'll most likely be using those existing lists. That's a very good question. Yeah, and the most frequent questions I get from farmers who are interested in pollinator-related topics, that's what they call me for. They call me, hey, do you have a plant list that you can recommend?